In this video, I'll show you how I make a template and use it to create curved corners for a dining table. I milled a piece of scrap wood and cut it to match the width of my workpiece. It doesn't matter how thick it is, but around half an inch thick works well for clamping. After clamping it down, I measured 1 inch from the bottom and drew lines on both sides to mark where the curve ends. Then I drew a line in the middle of the template as a guide for where the curves will meet. Using a punch tool, I marked a spot for drilling a screw and then drove a screw into the wood, making sure it wasn't too deep. To establish points for screw drilling at the ends, I drew vertical lines half an inch from each side. The intersection of these lines serves as my reference point for drilling screws. I marked spots for drilling screws using a punch tool and then screwed them in. With 3 screws in place on the workpiece, I can now mark the curve. I cut a thin strip from a scrap wood that matched the width of the tabletop using a table saw. Then I used this thin strip to mark the curve, securing it in place between screws and ensuring the ends were flush with the template. Once I confirmed they were flush, I drew the curve. With the markings done, I need to shape the template. I used a jigsaw to remove the excess wood, making sure to clamp the template securely, and took my time to carefully remove the material. Once I removed most of the material, I sanded the remaining wood to meet the markings. Ideally, a spindle sander would have been perfect for this task, but since mine started smoking, I switched to an orbital sander. I clamped it securely to the workbench and carefully sanded it to match the markings. I made sure to keep the template as flat as possible throughout the process. With the template ready, I am prepared to cut the curve on the tabletop ends using it as a reference. I clamped the template securely to the table, ensuring that both ends and the center were flush with the table. Then I drew lines and used a jigsaw to remove most of the material. Since the tabletop is 1.5 inch thick, I took my time with the jigsaw, ensuring that the bottom of the saw remained flat against the table all the time. After removing most of the material with the jigsaw, it's time to make the table ends flush with the template. To do this, I used a router. Before starting the routing process, I secured the template to the tabletop using a double-sided tape. I made sure that the ends were flush to the corners by referencing the lines I drew earlier. I began routing to flush the table ends with the template to make the curve using a top-bearing flush trim bit. After completing the first pass with the router, there is still some material left to remove. To remove this, I switched to a palm router and used a bottom-bearing flush trim bit to finish shaping the curve. This is my first attempt at making a dining table with curved corners, and I'm pleased with the outcome. It might not be flawless, but for my first try, I'm satisfied with it. I will include the link of the build video of this outdoor dining table in the video description. If you are still here, please check out my dining table build video to support my channel. Thanks for watching. Do not forget to like and comment your thoughts on the curved corners. Your feedback is appreciated. Thank you.